Recently, I've been shooting some really fun and really creative interviews, and I think I finally got it to a T. Like the 3 tips that I want to share with you all on how to enhance your 2-cam interview setups. Hopefully, these tips help you all as they have helped me grow in the interview documentary space. So let's get into it. First and foremost, the first tip is going to be shoot on the shadow side of your talent. So when you're shooting with 2 cameras, you're always going to have your A camera be directly in front of them. That is always normally your main camera. Now, your B camera is always going to be on either side of your A camera. Depending on where your key is, which is usually 45 degree, whether it's a book light, whether it's an octo, does not matter. If it's at a 45 degree, you want to shoot on the opposite side of that light. For example, right now, my A camera is my FX3. It is directly in front of me, as you guys can see. And the light is actually 45 degrees to my right. If I had a B camera, I would put it on my left, which is opposite of the light, so that I'm shooting on the shadow side. Now, the reason for that normally is to see more dimension and texture when it comes to that camera. Now, if I was to shoot on the same side as my key, that's okay. However, because the key is lighting the whole side of that face, you don't get as much dimension. It most times can appear a little bit more flat than if you shot on the shadow side of your talent. So that's just kind of like an industry thing of always just wanting to shoot on the shadow side of your talent. Even when you see and you know of Jada Pinkett, her cheekbones, the structure of her face, all of that you want to take into account. And so for me, shooting on that shadow side allowed you to see just the structure of her cheekbones. It gave you more definition, more dimension, and it really did. It's like my favorite angle with that whole entire interview, because you just see the intricate details of her face. And it's because of shooting on the shadow side that allowed that. You wouldn't see as much of that shooting on the same side as your key, because the key would have just flattened it all out. Now, if you're shooting where your key is directly in front of you, you're pretty much lightening the whole face. And most times that is when it comes to like beauty, where they don't want too much contrast. But anytime you are shooting at that 45 degree, you want to have some kind of contrast, and you want to match it with your A camera. And in your A camera, you're going to see a side of contrast if you don't have a light on the opposite side. And so in order to highlight that contrast, shoot on a shadow side. Tip number 2 is going to be, do not break the 180 degree rule. Watch your eye line. So I've actually been guilty of this before as I was growing as a DP, breaking the 180 degree rule, and it made the talent look like they was cross-eyed, because you have 2 cameras coming from opposite way from the interviewee, and like they are in between the cameras. So let's say that I was talking to someone that was asking me questions. So I'm the interviewee, and I have an interviewer. Now, the 180 degree rule is not going to be between me and the camera. It's going to be between me and the interviewer. So when I create that line of me and the interviewer, and I have a camera directly in front of me, you don't want to break the 180 degree rule from you and the interviewer. So you don't want to put a camera on the opposite side of the interviewer, because then the talent is not only going to be looking between both cameras to look at the middle, which is where the interviewer is, but also it's just going to kind of create a weird disoriented view for the viewers. You want them to look like they're looking in one direction, which they should be. Now, for instance, if I had 2 cameras and I didn't have an interviewer and I was just talking directly into camera, it wouldn't matter which place I put B camera, because essentially the 180 degree rule will be between me and the camera. So it wouldn't matter where I placed. But with that comes tip number 1, you want to place it on the shadow side. So hopefully so far that this is all making sense. If it's not and you guys have any questions, please leave them down below, and I'll try to like actually give you all like examples. So again, you just want to make sure that everything is seamless, and the transitions are very seamless when it comes to cutting between A and B, and it doesn't create a jarring and disoriented view for your viewers. And last but not least, tip number 3, catchlight. Catchlights are important. And again, it all is a case by case basis, but for me, I'm very adamant about Catchlights because I feel like they always say that the eyes are the key to the soul. And so for me, just that little small glimmer in their eyes just makes the overall image look so beautiful and brings it all together, and it gives your viewers a focal point of where to look. And so lately I've been focusing a lot on Catchlight. And another cool thing about Catchlights is that it kind of helps you figure out where your key light should go. Whenever I don't see a Catchlight, I'm like, maybe my light's too high, maybe it's too far away. But when I see that Catchlight, I'm like, all right, this is a good place. Of course, other factors come into play. Now, what a Catchlight is going to be a small reflection in your eye from whatever your light source is. And so right now you can probably see a Catchlight in my eyes, and from a lot of my YouTube videos I always make sure that I have a Catchlight. And even with the Jada Pinkett's, her Catchlight was so prevalent, and it just made me look at her like when she was talking and zone in and find a focal point. Same with Kelly Rowland. Now this is case by case basis. There are going to be some times where you don't care about a Catchlight or it's not necessary, but for me, when I'm doing interviews, I just think, and especially if it's a person like that you're interviewing, it's always to me important to try to get a Catchlight. Unless the mood and the tone matches why you decide not to do a Catchlight, definitely always think Catchlight. So hopefully all those 3 tips helped. If you've already been doing it, great. If you haven't, get to it, and I promise you, you're gonna look back and be like, okay, wow. And again, there's so many other tips that come into play, but I think these are really good basic tips if you're getting it more into doing interview type, documentary type content, and you want it to look a little better. Yes, we care about lighting. Yes, we care about cameras. But a lot of times composition and just the small details really can make or break the overall image. And so I'm always here to give you those small details that you might not know about, because those are the things that helped me as I learned the bigger things. So hopefully this helped you all. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Leave them down below in the comments. I'm going to do a part 2 where I talk about how I shot and edited the Kelly Rowland interview, because a lot of people asked, and so I'm super excited for that. So make sure that you guys tune in. Make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. Definitely give this video a like. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.